Morning, guys. It's Dot. Well, I got some good news and some bad news. We're down here in what I am now going to call our mob vault. And if you recall from the last couple episodes, we've been spending the time roughing out all the pads that are going to be necessary for the mobs to spawn on. And in our most recent episode, we had spent time going through and collecting all of the ores and other goodies that happen to, be out in the open, as well as filling in gaps that we had, both in, the ceilings and the floors. The bad news is I was visiting Ethos's site again. And I had an inkling that there was another episode or another version of his that worked even better. And so I was taking a look at that, and I actually came across two specific videos. One talked more specifically about this thing he calls the mob-evator, basically the elevator that's going to take the mobs up to the surface. In the one that we're working on right now, we've got 12, was it 12, I think, right? Yeah, 4, 8, 12. 12 of these pads. 6 of them are in front of the mob elevator, which means it'll be real easy for them to come in and then go up. 4 of them are sitting kind of next door to it, so it may take a little bit longer for the mobs to get there. And then our last 2 happen to be behind here. And look at the friend over there. I'll talk about him in a minute. These 2, we cannot go in the back. So when we created these channels, we had to create them to go around this and then come in. Not a great idea. So I wanted to look for some other ideas. So I'm going to show you one of those in a minute. But before we do that, I'll talk about that zombie. Look at the light we've got down here. So how the heck do you think a zombie could appear here? Well, if we come up here, you'll notice these pads are very well lit. But there are spots down here, like right in this area, where the light level is pretty dim. And it's those areas that this has the ability to spawn the occasional mob. Hello, dude. Now, why was that a good thing for us? I mean, it's going to make working down here kind of dangerous. Right in this area here. It's a little too dangerous. When the thing is done, that's not going to be an issue because this is going to be water in here. And mobs do not spawn on water. So as long as these areas are lit up, we would be safe. So I wanted to think about an idea for lighting up this place. I learned an awful lot about spawning mobs watching his videos and other people's. Any block that is open can be spawnable for a mob provided the light level is low enough. However, if you do something like put a torch on a block, that then makes this block inaccessible for spawning. So when we get this thing done with all the water and whatnot, all these torches got to go away so that we have the maximum amount of space and a low enough light level for that to happen. Now earlier I saw that zombie and I said, oh good, that's actually a good thing. Well, why is that? It's because while we were excavating, we had come across a couple of caverns. And we got in there and we lit it up really well. That means that it must be daylight up top. We don't have torches on the ground up top. So at night, they can all spawn up there because it's really dark up there. So if they're spawning down here now, it must be daylight up there, which means the entire top of the world is off limits for spawning. And we must be getting pretty good with lighting up whatever other caverns or cave systems are located down here. And as I was toying around in the copy of the world on next steps for this project, I had to be really careful. I mean, all sorts of bad guys were coming out. One of the bad guys that can spawn down here are spiders. Spiders are a goofy mob. They're not super dangerous necessarily, but they're goofy in a couple ways, and we're going to need to play around with an idea for taking care of that. So let's take a second, and I'm going to hop you into one of the other copies so that I can show you some of the ideas I was toying around with on my off time. The videos haven't been coming to YouTube a lot recently because I have a puppy who is chewing things, and the puppy has chewed through the laptop cord, which means as I'm using this computer, I'm presented with little light shows of sparks shooting out of my cord or wisps of smoke or things like that. If I'm sitting here and I get it angled just right, everything seems to be working perfectly. But I didn't feel comfortable leaving the system on all night. Usually that's when I compile the videos. So I've got like 6 or 7 already to go. I just need to compile and upload them. And until I get my new cord, which won't be until I think the 1st of March, and it's, what is it now? The 25th of February. We aren't going to be able to get too many videos up. I do have like 3 I think I may send up in a day or 2. So bear with me in that regard. So let's take a break, and I want to show you something, all right? So give me a second. Okay, guys, we're back again. This is one of the copies, and this was one that I had actually completed. You're going to notice a couple things. All the water is in place. You're also going to hear zombie sounds. I even heard a skeleton a bit ago. So elsewhere down here they are spawning. But you are going to notice a couple things that are different. First of all, well, look up here as I'm trying to get out of here. Do you see those things in the ceiling? This is something brand new that you guys won't have access to until 1.2 comes out. Unless you're good and you've been running the snapshots like I have. And I want to put that back. All the corners I replaced with dirt, just in case what just happened happens to you. Dirt is real easy to break through, and you'll have access to all the corner ways going up. Yeah, this is a redstone enabled lightstone. Alright, so whereas lightstone is a cube or a block that always emits light, and it's highlight, like level 15, which is even more light than torches. This guy will only turn on if you enable it with a switch or a lever or a button or tie something in with lightstone. So I'll show you that in a second. Notice the pads have these half slabs, and I kind of goofed. If I show you this one over here, notice this one. They're farther in, and then this one here, they're closer. And even over here on the far end, you'll notice they're actually right on the edge. And all I'll do for now is tell you that the reason these are here is to stop spiders from spawning down here. So once these are all in place, the only thing that'll spawn down here are zombies and creepers and skeletons. I don't really need spiders. We've got access to underground mines which have both spider webs galore and cave spiders. Cave spiders also give that, what is it called, spider eye or whatever, which is the other drop that spiders can give us. So I don't have to worry about that too much, okay? But you can see the first time I did it, I had sort of the idea right, but these are in too far. And once we're ready for this, I'll walk you through the same thing that Ethos did, and you'll understand why that was wrong. But here's what I wanted to show you, though. The channels pull the water down into the mob elevator, okay? However, you'll also notice, and I don't know if I can do it without having to get out of here, it goes in from the back. So I reconfigured it so that all the pads back here didn't have to go around and in. They could just go straight in and do what they needed to do. Why? Because then it's even faster for these mobs to get out of here. One of his videos, the video where I actually saw these being used, showed that the pads he was using were very small. I want to say something like 3 by 3, like just this little area. And then there were a bunch of them with channels in between. Our pads are 14 by 14, so they're a lot bigger. He didn't actually say why he chose the small version, but from what I can understand now, I think it's because it allowed for more water channels and a faster way for the mobs to get up here. You know, if a mob spawns, let's say, right here in the middle, it may take a while for this guy to, you know, bop around or whatever, and then, you know, make its way into a channel and then head on up. So I think by using smaller pads, he was able to solve that problem. And I just want to do a test here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, he was able to do, I think it was 7 by 7. But I swear, you see how these are right on the edge? I swear that his weren't. His were like this. They had one block of space. But I'm not going to go. I don't want to reconfigure totally that way. So I think we're awesome here. I mean, the thing does its job. Okay. Well, before we get out of this version, I want to talk about these again. They take an awful lot of redstone, and you're going to need lightstone. But look at this. I mean, this is just this pad, and I've got, I think, 2 of the 3 for this one, or is it 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 4 lit up already. So this pad and this pad are totally lit up with, like I said, a light level that's even higher than that of a torch. And in order for me to create the back entrance in here, that means I had to reconfigure how I got into my base. I installed an iron door that zombies cannot break through, so that I have access to come out and check the pads. Got a switch here that'll keep everything safe, so I can even peek out here and see what the monsters are doing. I've got a weird thing going on with the ladders here. If I take this ladder down, I come down to my base, which is actually also been reconfigured. I actually had to spend a lot of time moving everything below where I was before and in a new position. You'll even notice I've got more chests to go as well. Nothing else has really changed down here. I just had to reposition it. But again, if you look at the ladder, there's a section where the ladder's on the opposite side. This is kind of wild. This is just one channel, and you can take this ladder all the way up. Look, I don't even have to be on the ladder, and it works. You see that? All right, but if I come back down here, that first hole you saw was that door. The second hole was the access to the cavern lighting. Okay, so if I just, before I hit this switch, this is the redstone. I mean, it couldn't be any simpler. It just comes down and it actually touches the top of one of those light stones. And then you head off that way and it lights up one of the pads. You head off this way and it lights up the other pad. It's no more difficult than just redstone. You need a repeater now and then, or else your redstone's going to die out. And then look at this. This one here is a full pad, so there's actually 4 of these light stones. And it just goes down, over to one over there, over, and ends here. You don't have to waste the redstone coming back here, because that would be redundant. Okay, so there I go with that. I chose, just because of the proximity of where I was, to use this as the branch point. So this piece of lightstone, a lightstone down there, and one more over there finishes this pad. But I think it was this pad where, yeah, see that? I simply ran out. I ran out of lightstone. So really, 2 more pieces of lightstone would have lit this guy up. So this guy's actually dead. He's not doing anything just now. But I needed to use all of my resources just to light up 2 pads. And by all of my resources, I didn't even have lightstone. So I needed to head out to the nether. And I found two chunks of lightstone. I actually even died once and had to go back to the nether and try to find where I was in order to pick up all the goodies again. Stupid ghast. In order to find all this stuff. But anyways, if I come over here and I turn that switch off, you'll see that it's going to be much darker down here. You see that? Pretty cool, huh? Now it's kind of weird because I really don't, there's no real torches anywhere up here, and even when a lightstone circuit is turned off, the lightstone doesn't even generate light. So, honestly, I'm not sure where this light is coming from. I think it may be, where is it? Yeah, it may be the fact that I've got brightness on full to do it, okay? And then, like I said, down there was the new base, okay? All right, there's one more thing in this version that I wanted to show you. So really, this makes like, oh God, the 6th time I've built this. And I want to be careful because I see it's dark up here. I reconfigured this one to kill the mobs using water instead of lava. If you remember the first one I showed you, they came up the mob evader and they came out this way, and there was a lava blade over here that killed them. In this version, they're brought up, and I want to say it's even a little bit higher, and they're actually channeled into the mountainside here. So if we come in here, and I think this is the version, yeah, this one here I did with glass, all the way up, you see? So the mobs are pushed down this channel, and then as soon as they get to this area with the signs, they want to swim up. And they swim up, and this top layer up here are 4 solid water blocks, and there's nothing there. It's just solid ceiling like this. So it's a great way for them to come in, come up, drown themselves, and because there's no fire involved, any drops fall down and get channeled here. And it's kind of funny, if I actually stand here to watch them, I can get the drops right as they fall in here. They don't just bypass me. And I mean, look down here on my bar. I mean, I've got 7 gunpowder right here, plus I think I had another 9 down in the base. And again, that was just toying around with it for 5 or 10 minutes. That's really the reason I wanted to create this. But look, you'll see I've got some string. I even had more string, enough to make a bow. So if we can take spiders out of the equation, then that will heighten the chances that the other types of mobs can spawn. Okay? Well, if we come back down right before we leave this area, I put a little trap door there, right, just to keep the bad guys out. And I think I need to turn the lights back on. Yeah. Come on. I'm still not loving a couple of things. By moving my base underground, I was able to make this much smaller, so that again I had more stuff to play around with. By putting the 2 channels in, you can see, and I think it's, yeah, you can see here, I was able to get rid. These were the ones that used to be in the back, and if you remember, the channels came down, and then where you see this cobble, they went over and over to get around the base over here, over and over. You see that? Not sure why I had 2. That's weird. So I was able to solve that problem. But the more I looked at it, I was having issues. And I'm going to try something that could very possibly be dangerous. Okay, this area in here. This is the mob evader, the bottom. I wasn't able to configure it the same way that Ethos showed in his, because this is not the four-way mob evader. Can I get over here? Yeah, I'll try it. In the four-way, he had corners to play around with that I just don't have here, because there's no, it doesn't go in this way. If it would have went this way and that way, I would have had a corner here and a corner here and a corner here and a corner here. So I had to play around with places to put water. This right here is a water block in the wall, which actually created this little piece. And there's a similar one over here to create this little piece, to create this little ramp-looking thing that helps shoot them up. So that was as close as I was able to come to getting it to work with this version. But the more I thought about it, the more I had said, I think, honestly, I'm going to get over here. Come on. Trying to fight these currents is nuts. I don't know. The more I thought about it, I told myself that I think we could probably, very possibly, reconfigure it again. Oh, shoot. I always come in the wrong side. Actually, I'll stay here because I probably won't come back to this world. I want to get rid of this again. And hold on a second. Pardon me. I want to make it so that we have easy access from all the different directions. So that was my next build. I'm going to have an issue with the base, though, because I seem to not be able to find a safe place to put the base that's out of the way. It's always getting in here. These channels are only 2 deep. However, to keep these water streams running, there are places where I have to dig down another block. So that base is actually directly under this water. And now actually I do want to go, because not that this is bad or anything, but I don't like having to look at it. Let's come in here. Ooh, I heard a skeleton. So we're going to come in here and lock the door just so we're safe. If I remember correctly, and we might need to wait a minute, somewhere on this ceiling you can actually see water droplets. I thought one of the channels was like literally directly above one of these. No, you know what? No, I apologize. It used to be one below. And then, I had everything in place. Then I saw the water droplets, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. So I actually dug down one more block and had to move all the chests down. Yeah, this used to be my wood locker. The original wood locker sat up here, so just to save some time, the wood locker ended up being below. Kind of dumb, but just so that it was safe. Okay? Alright, so we're going to leave this world, and I'm going to show you one last world, alright? Okay, hold on. Okay, guys, we're back. Well, I didn't go as far. I actually started with our current world so that I could see what I had to do. I've done a couple of things here. This is the remnants of the base. I just didn't want to take the time in an off-world. All the goodies that were comprised in our base. We now have 4 channels leading through the middle. Now, this was interesting because where you see right here, this and this section where the dirt is going up, this was our original shaft that came down. So it was kind of centrally located here. If I come over here, you can see here's the ladder that goes down to the base. Okay, and I actually created a brand new base. This had to be off-shifted because what I needed to do was build a new shaft that was, like 3 blocks over, so that it lined up with both sets of channels. That was the back. So I was back here. So it was easy to dig through and get at the back. That's how I did that last one I showed you. But look, I mean, there was no way for us to go left and right. So as I was toying around with how I was going to have to resize these pads, it occurred to me, wait a minute, if I simply shift everything 3 blocks over, then I'm perfectly lined up with this channel. Which ended up actually taking a lot less time and effort. So again, you can see with the cobble here, this was the old channel. See that? You can see it over there. That was the old channel. And I think I know why there are 2 over here. Yeah, I think the first one, yeah, I can see it now. The first one was the original base, so the block came all the way out to here. Then I toyed around with making the base smaller in that first alternate version I showed you. And I think that's what that was from. And remember, it was remember how it just came over and there were like torches here and here. I mean, it was kind of real small. That was right here. Okay. So I opted not to do that. And where did I put it over here? Yeah. Well, this was as good as I could do for the base, and I think what I'll do in the finished version is I'll keep this, and then I'm going to wrap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. I won't do over here. I'll wrap this with solid glass 2 high, so it goes right to the ceiling. That'll keep that solid so that we're safe. I won't put a door in this time. If I need to get out here and actually do work, I'll just have to break the glass and come on in. But I want to make it as minimal as possible so that we'll have access to as much room to spawn on. One of the drawbacks with that system for getting rid of the spiders with the half blocks is that when you place a half block, that means all the other mobs can't spawn there. And I want to say it was 16, but then I goofed and I had to put them in different positions. So it might be 20 per pad. So that's going to be taking out a fairly nice chunk of possibilities. It doesn't really affect us because we opted to put in those extra 2 pads down there and the extra 2 pads down there. So I think we'll be good to go in that regard. Again, I didn't move the base, but let me show you the new base. At the bottom of this, I came out and I did something a little bit different. I love to put ladders in channels. It just makes getting in and out and up and down a lot easier. Well, what I did is I came out 4, and that's where I'm going to position the workbench. Okay? Then I just decided to do something different. It's 4 wide, which means I can put chests now on both sides. And look, it's 3 high. So I'll have 2 over here, 2 over here. I came in 3 and then notched out back here. So I can put 2 more here. So I'll have 6 chests over here, 6 chests down here. That's going to leave just enough room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 furnaces right around this workbench. So I think that will be even better than any of the other bases we've ever used. Okay? Alright, I see that we're approaching really 30 minutes on the dot. I think our next step is going to be to take this, which is what you saw in our real world last time, and turn it into this. Okay? Alright, so until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.